You asked me if I have seen inequality before. Asked me if I can recognize him if he walked right through that door. I do not say yes, I do not say no, and no, it's not because I can't recall his face. On the contrary, it's because inequality is the man with many faces, makes his way through many places, and though he don't go claiming to be everywhere like air, let's face it, he is. Everywhere at every time at the same time, inequality sits in every room, visits every group, every branch of humanity tree in school. He submits the same classwork as you, sits through the same class just as you, yet claims he's not of the same class as you. True, he's not. You asked me, if all men are made equal, why then is the world not? Why is the world not fair? And well, I said perhaps because inequality makes the world go round and man is yet to break the circle. He said inequality sounds quite powerful. Asked how you can meet him. I said, you already have. Have you forgotten? Inequality was just at the town's meeting last weekend. When it got to his turn to speak, he called dibs on the women's bodies, on their voices, and misogyny screamed amen. And one by one, the women unhooked their voices from their throat, unhooked their bodies from their bones, and patriarchy took it all and called it his own. See how all the girls shuddered, hide their dreams under their gowns, and clutched to their mothers, and the girls with no mothers. Girls whose mothers were almost legally mothered when the law permits us to mine brides out of babies, mine moms out of babies on a daily. Adults make babies with babies. Then babies get torn apart to take out the babies. And when science tries but fails in getting her stitched back, what part of the room does the law go to sit back with a bowl of popcorn to watch as VVF comes for our young, gazing, as 400,000 cases of women leaking, women chasing, healing, tracing their way back to when their bodies were still whole and their own. MGM is what happens when our customs drop by our homes to say, give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar and to the blade what is his to take. Is it tax paying or offering time? When 27% of our girls and women aged 15 to 49 are offered to the blade, when the blade takes part of the girls, what part of the girls have we kept safe? Sometimes. Tradition is a safety deposit box we go to store our cruelty for generations, We slap grieving widows with dumb accusations, claim it was her who sent her husband on a love errand to his grave. Say, if you did not kill him, then prove it. Take this putrid water we used in washing his remains and drink it, shave her hair, then shave her and her girls out of her husband's will. We claim this tradition, call it our own, even though it is crushing our own. Inequality is how a man will never know this trauma should it debut on. Culture is indeed a fine name we give to age-long mistakes. It appears there's been an age-long mistake in this cultural maths that we keep calculating. So when it comes to child marriages, age is just a number now. But when it comes to youth and governance, the numbers now begin to count. The numbers now begin to count us out of the election, out of the job applications. The fenestration was that one time the powers that be were so power drunk, they pushed us out the window of opportunity. And now we're outside. For my G, with over 80 million Nigerian youth estimated to be unemployed, what thing will happen to my steeds? Normal, we sabi run things, but it appears we're too young to run the country, too young to get jobs, too young to run the office, to run this race of becoming our most succeeding selves. At the national dinner, the youth is fed an empty plate, his belly growling. An elder belches loudly, say, if a child washes his hands well, he will eat with the elders. No means say Pikin suppose go they ask for meat. He says this, picking his teeth. Equality clears his throat, replies, no. Chop your own, I chop my own. Now human rights no belong truth. Inequality answered, but what if what is good for the geese is an allergy for the gander? Yet, what is sadder was how people with disabilities never made it to the dinner table too. Not like they never wanted to, they weren't able to. How could they? When the building is inaccessible to them, when nation building is inaccessible, when 98.5% of public infrastructures are literally structured to keep them out. Inclusion is an inside joke we don't relate to when we are locked outside the gate. Left out, left behind. Inclusion surely don't look like a nation fronting to embrace all but turning its back on some people with disabilities, women, youth, IDPs, and other vulnerable groups. The truth It is not charity when we ask that every group in society are included in nation building. Truth is, when we leave others behind, we lose out on the value they provide us. We miss out on women's contribution in leadership, and we think that females in politics equate misplaced priority. In the same vein, our economy suffers the brunt of brain drain when our talented ones go hunting for food outside our shores and labor force. Do you think it favors us? When all our doctors drop out because of no employment or underemployment, who go perform your surgery? Or when your cousin, who is as skilled as they get, sits through many interviews but does not land the job because the boss thinks that someone living with disability is automatically unfit and cannot be trusted with a job. Inequality is a man with many faces, finds his way into as many places as we let him, and until we tell him to leave, we will keep leaving others behind. Until we put our biases aside and collectively chase him out, we will keep asking why there is not enough room for everyone to survive, to thrive. We can give inclusion a chance today. Learn to act and not just claim we are all one, though we are not the same. To put in the same intentionality we put into passing laws, into implementing them. Recognize the needs of vulnerable groups, letting them in, empowering them, letting them see that we see them, that they're equally valuable and needed, that their cries and concerns are heeded. Provide each group with tailored opportunities and resources seen. An equal word is a shared obligation. Every member of this nation owes it to every member of this nation to bridge the gap. So let's keep in mind that it takes all of us to not leave anyone behind.